Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're all about finding those shortcuts, right? Getting you well-informed, fast, especially with complex stuff like, well, sports predictions.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling the NFL, the 2025-26 season specifically.
Right. You, our listener, shared some fascinating material with us. 2025-26 Sabermetric NFL Predictions by Tofte Jr. And this isn't just gut feelings.
No, not at all. This digs deep into over a decade of NFL stats, trying to find actual patterns.
So our mission today is to really unpack this whole approach. How does it work? How accurate is it, really?
Yeah, and what are its weaknesses? Because no model is perfect.
Definitely. We'll look at the algorithms, the assumptions,
Right.
even the author's own eyeballing predictions. So, okay, let's unpack this. How do numbers actually predict touchdowns? How does that even work?
It's a great question. And Tofte's method is purely data-driven. What's really striking is the track record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his end-of-season analytics, they've predicted, get this, 9 out of the last 11 Super Bowl winners.
9 out of 11. Wow.
And not just that, his main algorithm, it consistently picks 10 out of the 14 playoff teams year after year.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. Almost unbelievable for the NFL, you know.
It really shows the power of applying these advanced stats, even to something as, well, chaotic as football.
So let's dig into that main model then, Algorithm 1. The author says it hits over 70% accuracy for playoff teams.
That's right, over 70%.
And he uses this analogy like an S&P 500 index fund. That makes sense. Individual games are volatile.
But over the whole season, it finds this consistency.
Exactly.
So how does it do that? How does Algorithm 1 actually work?
Well, it starts by identifying the key stats, things that really correlate with wins.
Like quarterback rating
No.
or yards per carry.
Things like that, yeah. And crucially, the specific personnel, the players who drive those stats. Then it projects those stats across the whole season, but, and this is key, it adjusts based on each team's schedule.
Ah, strength of schedule, got it.
Right. And then each team gets a numerical score, a rubric score, so you can rank them.
And importantly, different stats are actually weighted differently depending on whether you're predicting regular season wins or conference championships or the Super Bowl itself.
Makes sense. Different levels require different kinds of strengths.
Precisely.
Okay, Algorithm 1 sounds pretty solid, almost like it's got everything covered. But football, there's always something unpredictable, right? What's its biggest blind spot? The Achilles heel.
Yeah, there's a big one. Rookie quarterbacks, hands down.
Rookie QBs. Why them specifically?
Well, the data shows your average rookie throws about, let's say, 17.5 touchdowns. And teams with quarterbacks throwing 18 or fewer, they usually end up in the bottom quarter of the league.
Okay.
So the algorithm, just as a baseline, it plugs in 18 touchdowns for every single rookie QB.
Right. So what happens if a rookie just blows that expectation away? Like C.J. Stroud last year for the Texans, or maybe Jaden Daniels with the Commanders,
Yeah.
if they throw way more than 18 TDs.
That's exactly it. Those guys, the outliers, they basically break the algorithm.
Yeah.
The model just isn't built for that kind of massive overperformance from a rookie.
Did the author try to figure out why some rookies succeed like that?
Oh, yeah. He spent a whole year digging, looked at everything. College stats, conference, high school, where they grew up, family background, even used AI.
Anything.
Nothing. No reliable pattern, no correlation found by him or the AI. It's kind of fascinating, actually.
So even with all that data, the sort of human element, that unexpected leap from a rookie, it can still beat the model.
Exactly. Which is maybe why we love watching sports, right? That unpredictability.
True. Okay, so moving on, the author says he's not a gambler, but he brings up gambler's math, needing like 55, 57% accuracy just to break even to profit. Why bring that up?
Because it puts the algorithm's success into perspective. It's not just, oh, it gets it right often.
Yeah.
That 55, 57% is the threshold for measurable success in a field like sports betting.
Right, where you actually have an edge.
Precisely. So when Algorithm 1 hits over 70% and the Super Bowl algorithm is over 80%, that's not just good. It's demonstrably successful by that tough metric. It proves the model has a real predictive edge.
So he even uses that gambler's threshold for his own experiments.
Yeah, any new experimental algorithm he develops, it has to consistently hit over 60% accuracy for him to even consider keeping it. He's serious about that baseline.
Okay, so besides the rookie QB issue, what are the other core assumptions baked into Algorithm 1? What does it assume is going to happen?
There are three main ones. First, and this is a big one, it assumes the starting quarterback stays healthy all season.
which doesn't always happen in the NFL.
Definitely not. So if a QB gets injured, the score has to be adjusted. The author usually subtracts the games missed, but adds 2 back, sort of a buffer for a backup or the team adjusting.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Say the Bills have a score of 16. Josh Allen gets hurt, misses 8 games. The adjusted score would be 16 minus 8 plus 2, so it drops to 10. A big hit.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second assumption?
Continuity. It assumes teams follow, typical progression patterns like 2, 4, 6, 8. You expect 10 next.
But sometimes teams just explode or collapse, right?
Exactly. You might get a 20 after that 8 or even a 1. Those huge deviations from the expected trend. They can break the algorithm's projection for that team too.
And the third assumption?
This one's about contracts. It assumes major touchdown producers, guys who might be doing hold-ins or holdouts, will eventually sign and play the full season.
Can you quickly explain hold-ins and holdouts for people?
Sure. A holdout is classic. Player refuses to show up without a new contract. A hold-in is newer. They show up but don't really practice fully, again, protesting their contract.
So the algorithm just assumes those situations get resolved?
Pretty much. It assumes guys like, say, Terry McLaurin for Washington will be playing. If he doesn't play for a chunk of the season due to a contract thing, the Commander's score would drop by a point or 2. It's a real-world factor the model accounts for but can't perfectly predict.
Got it. Now, here's something really interesting you mentioned earlier. A higher algorithm score doesn't always mean a better team. How does that work?
Right. This is crucial. It comes down to strength of schedule. It's a huge factor.
So a team could have an easier schedule and just rack up wins, boosting their score.
Exactly that. The author uses the LA Chargers as an example. Their out-of-conference schedule is, well, much easier than the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
So the Chargers might pile up some extra wins just because of who they play, getting a higher score, even if most people think the Chiefs are the better overall team.
And the flip side, tough schedules hurting good teams.
Definitely. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Their schedule is just brutal this year. They play the Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Broncos, Packers, Lions, Bears, Chargers, and Bills outside their division.
Oof. Yeah, that's rough.
So that tough schedule can really skew the results. Like, the Houston Texans are rated lower by the algorithm partly because their schedule is so hard. Meanwhile, the Colts and Jaguars, they get a bump partly because their schedules look easier.
You mentioned the Colts are tricky for the algorithm.
Yeah, they're a real challenge. On paper, strong run game, good defense, easier schedule. They could maybe win that division if they just got average QB play.
Right.
But their current QBs average less than 0.76 touchdowns per game, and they turn the ball over almost as much. So there's a big disconnect between the team potential and the QB reality that the model struggles with.
Okay, let's get to it then. The playoff picture, according to Algorithm 1. Who does it have making it for 2025-26?
All right. In the AFC, Los Angeles Chargers, Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. And the NFC?
For the NFC, it's the Chicago Bears, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, San Francisco 49ers, Washington Commanders, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and then a tie for the last spot between the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Interesting mix. And the Super Bowl matchup from Algorithm 1, the big prediction.
Purely based on Algorithm 1, it's the Baltimore Ravens beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Projected to be a close one.
Ravens Bucks. Okay. But you mentioned the author adds a caveat.
Yeah, he's quick to point out this assumes 100% accuracy rate, which we know isn't realistic. The model usually gets about 10 out of 14 playoff teams right. So take it as the model's best mathematical guess, but expect some real-world shifts.
That's fair. Keeps things grounded. Now, does the author always agree with his own algorithm? Does he ever look at the results and think, I'm not so sure about that one?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. He mentions specifically being a bit skeptical about the high rankings for the Colts and the Bears this year.
Okay.
He has this observation that every year the algorithm nails one prediction that seemed totally ridiculous beforehand, but it also gets another one ridiculously wrong. He wonders if the Colts or Bears might be one of those this season.
Interesting. What about the thinking behind some other key teams, like the Commanders being ranked relatively high?
For Washington, the logic is potential. If Jaden Daniels takes that typical year 1 to year 2 jump, the feeling is he could be an MVP candidate, maybe even lead them to a division title.
And the Eagles, despite that tough schedule.
Yeah, the Eagles have arguably one of the best rosters, but that schedule, the algorithm sees it making a repeat division or conference title really tough. Plus, there's a built-in assumption about running backs.
What's that?
Generally, a running back coming off a massive career year is projected to perform at about 80% of that peak the following season. That kind of regression could impact teams relying heavily on the run.
And the Eagles have historically been tricky for the algorithm.
Yeah, interestingly, they're the team that's broken his algorithm the most often, sometimes in a good way, sometimes bad.
What about the 49ers?
The big factor there is adding Robert Saleh to the coaching staff. The expectation is he'll help restore their defense to its dominant form. That's key to their projection.
And then the Vikings?
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy.
Their score is low because McCarthy is essentially a rookie QB by the algorithm standard, so it plugs in that lower TD number. Now, the author personally has high hopes for McCarthy, thinks he could break the mold like Sam Darnold once did, but the model itself stays conservative based on averages.
That rookie factor again.
Exactly. And he even mentions watching Cam Ward in college, thought he was maybe the best QB prospect he'd seen. He wouldn't be shocked if Ward explodes. But the algorithm can't factor in that kind of subjective evaluation.
And the Cowboys. Any specific factor there?
Yeah, the Achilles injury for Dak Prescott. Historically, QBs coming back from that specific injury tend to perform at roughly 80% of their pre-injury level in year one. That stat gets factored in.
Wow, the level of detail is incredible. Okay, so algorithm 1 is the main one, but he has experimental ones too. What's the deal with those?
Right. He's always tinkering, always trying to improve. He has 3 experimental ones he shares, but he's very clear. These are untested, unproven hypotheses.
So just ideas he's playing with.
Pretty much. Exploring if different weightings or variables might capture things even better. Like algorithm 1A actually shares the same Super Bowl prediction as the main one, Ravens over Bucks.
Okay, so that one's similar.
But then algorithm 2, that one's way different. It predicts Bills over Commanders for the Super Bowl.
Bills Commanders. That's a bold take compared to Ravens Buck.
Very different. And algorithm 2 is also the only one that includes the Houston Texans in the AFC playoffs.
Interesting. And the third experimental one?
Algorithm 2A. It kind of hedges its bets for the Super Bowl, either the Bills or the Ravens against the Commanders, so it keeps Buffalo and Baltimore in play against Washington.
So these experiments show he's constantly trying to refine things, push the envelope.
Exactly. Always chasing that perfect model, even though it might be impossible.
Okay, so we've got algorithm 1, the experimental ones.
Yeah.
And then, just for contrast, he includes his I guess, right? No math involved.
That's right. Zero math, no schedule analysis, no coaching deep dives, just his pure gut feeling based on watching football.
And how does the I guess usually do against the models?
He admits it himself. The I guess has never beaten the mathematical models. Not once.
It really highlights the value of the data then, doesn't it?
It really does. It
Yeah.
shows how much our intuition can sometimes diverge from what the numbers suggest, and often the numbers have the edge.
So what's his I guess Super Bowl for this year?
His gut feeling, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
A classic matchup many would probably pick, but one his own model suggests is less likely.
Precisely. It's a great reality check.
So let's wrap this up. What have we learned here? This deep dive really showed the incredible precision sabermetrics can bring to NFL predictions.
Yeah, but also its limits, right? Especially with things like those breakout rookie QBs, it's not foolproof.
Definitely not. And it highlights that constant drive to refine the models to get closer to cracking the code, even in a game that loves unpredictability. It really shows the value of digging into the data, getting beyond just surface takes.
Absolutely. This was all about helping you, the listener, get a quick handle on some pretty complex sports analytics, offering insights you might not get otherwise.
So here's something to think about as the season gets going. You've heard about Algorithm 1, the reliable workhorse. You've heard about the bolder experimental models. And you've heard about the simple I guess. Which approach, which one of these models, or even just gut feeling, do you think will end up being the most insightful predictor for the 2025-26 NFL season? And why?